Jeremiah 21-32 World English Bible. Chapter 21. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, when King Zedekiah sent to him Pashur the son of Malchijah, and Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah, the priest, saying, Please inquire of Yahweh for us, for Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon makes war against us. Perhaps Yahweh will deal with us according to all his wondrous works, that he may withdraw from us. Then Jeremiah said to them, Tell Zedekiah, Yahweh, the God of Israel says, Behold, I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands, with which you fight against the king of Babylon, and against the Chaldeans who besiege you outside the walls, and I will gather them into the middle of the city. I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a strong arm, even in anger, in wrath, and in great indignation. I will strike the inhabitants of this city, both men and animal. They will die of a great pestilence. Afterward, says Yahweh, I will deliver Zedekiah king of Judah, his servants, and the people, even those who are left in the city from the pestilence, from the sword, and from the famine, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those who seek their life. He will strike them with the edge of the sword. He will not spare them, have pity, or have mercy. You shall say to this people, Yahweh says, Behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. He who remains in this city will die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, but he who goes out and passes over to the Chaldeans who besiege you, he will live, and he will escape with his life. For I have set my face on this city for evil, and not for good, says Yahweh. It will be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will burn it with fire. Concerning the house of the king of Judah, hear Yahweh's word, House of David, Yahweh says, Execute justice in the morning, and deliver him who is robbed out of the hand of the oppressor, lest my wrath go out like fire, and burn so that no one can quench it, because of the evil of your doings. Behold, I am against you, O inhabitant of the valley, and of the rock of the plain, says Yahweh. You that say, Who would come down against us, or who would enter into our homes? I will punish you according to the fruit of your doings, says Yahweh, and I will kindle a fire in her forest, and it will devour all that is around her. Chapter 22. Yahweh said, Go down to the house of the king of Judah, and speak this word there, hear Yahweh's word, King of Judah, who sits on David's throne, you, your servants, and your people who enter in by these gates. Yahweh says, Execute justice and righteousness, and deliver him who is robbed out of the hand of the oppressor. Do no wrong. Do no violence to the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow. Don't shed innocent blood in this place. For if you do this thing indeed, then kings sitting on David's throne will enter in by the gates of this house, riding in chariots and on horses, they, their servants, and their people. But if you will not hear these words, I swear by myself, says Yahweh, that this house will become a desolation. For Yahweh says concerning the house of the king of Judah, You are Gilead to me, the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make you a wilderness, cities which are not inhabited. I will prepare destroyers against you, everyone with his weapons, and they will cut down your choice cedars, and cast them into the fire. Many nations will pass by this city, and they will each ask his neighbor, Why has Yahweh done this to this great city? Then they will answer, Because they abandoned the covenant of Yahweh their God, worshipped other gods, and served them. Don't weep for the dead. Don't bemoan him, but weep bitterly for him who goes away, for he will return no more, and not see his native country. For Yahweh says touching Shallum the son of Josiah, king of Judah, who reigned instead of Josiah his father, and who went out of his place, he won't return there any more. But he will die in the place where they have led him captive. He will see this land no more. Woe to him who builds his house by unrighteousness, and his rooms by injustice, who uses his neighbor's service without wages, and doesn't give him his hire, who says, I will build myself a wide house and spacious rooms, and cuts out windows for himself, with a cedar ceiling, and painted with red. Should you reign because you strive to excel in cedar? Didn't your father eat and drink, and do justice and righteousness? Then it was well with him. He judged the cause of the poor and needy, so then it was well. Wasn't this to know me, says Yahweh? But your eyes and your heart are only for your covetousness, for shedding innocent blood, for oppression, and for doing violence. Therefore Yahweh says concerning Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, they won't lament for him, saying, Ah my brother, or, Ah sister. They won't lament for him, saying, Ah Lord, or, Ah his glory. He will be buried with the burial of a donkey, drawn and cast out beyond the gates of Jerusalem. Go up to Lebanon, and cry out. Lift up your voice in Bashan, and cry from Abram, for all your lovers have been destroyed. I spoke to you in your prosperity, but you said, I will not listen. This has been your way from your youth, that you didn't obey my voice. The wind will feed all your shepherds, and your lovers will go into captivity. Surely then you will be ashamed and confounded for all your wickedness. Inhabitant of Lebanon, who makes your nest in the cedars, how greatly to be pitied you will be when pangs come on you, the pain as of a woman in travail. As I live, says Yahweh, though Coniah the son of Jehoiakim king of Judah were the signet on my right hand, I would still pluck you from there. I would give you into the hand of those who seek your life, and into the hand of them of whom you are afraid, even into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and into the hand of the Chaldeans. I will cast you out with your mother who bore you into another country, where you were not born, and there you will die. But to the land to which their soul longs to return, there they will not return. Is this man Coniah a despised broken vessel? Is he a vessel in which no one delights? Why are they cast out, he and his offspring, and cast into a land which they don't know? O earth, 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 hear Yahweh's word. Yahweh says, Record this man as childless, a man who will not prosper in his days, for no more will a man of his offspring prosper, sitting on David's throne and ruling in Judah. Chapter 23. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh, the God of Israel, says against the shepherds who feed my people, You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit on you the evil of your doings, says Yahweh. I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they will be fruitful and multiply. I will set up shepherds over them who will feed them. They will no longer be afraid or dismayed, neither will any be lacking, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will raise to David a righteous branch, and he will reign as king and deal wisely, and will execute justice and righteousness in the land. In his days Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell safely. This is his name by which he will be called, Yahweh our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that they will no more say, As Yahweh lives, who brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but, As Yahweh lives, who brought up and who led the offspring of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all the countries where I had driven them. Then they will dwell in their own land. Concerning the prophets, my heart within me is broken. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine has overcome, because of Yahweh, and because of his holy words. For the land is full of adulterers, for because of the curse the land mourns. The pastures of the wilderness have dried up. Their course is evil, and their might is not right, for both prophet and priest are profane. Yes, in my house I have found their wickedness, says Yahweh. Therefore their way will be to them as slippery places in the darkness. They will be driven on, and fall therein, for I will bring evil on them, even the year of their visitation, says Yahweh. I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied by Baal, and caused my people Israel to err. In the prophets of Jerusalem I have also seen a horrible thing, they commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen the hands of evildoers, so that no one returns from his wickedness. They have all become to me as Sodom, and its inhabitants as Gomorrah. Therefore Yahweh of armies says concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood, and make them drink poisoned water, for from the prophets of Jerusalem ungodliness has gone out into all the land. Yahweh of armies says, don't listen to the words of the prophets who prophesy to you. They teach you vanity. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of Yahweh. They say continually to those who despise me, Yahweh has said, you will have peace, and to everyone who walks in the stubbornness of his own heart they say, no evil will come on you. For who has stood in the counsel of Yahweh, that he should perceive and hear his word? Who has listened to my word, and heard it? Behold, Yahweh's storm, his wrath, has gone out. Yes, a whirling storm. It will burst on the head of the wicked. Yahweh's anger will not return until he has executed and performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days you will understand it perfectly. I didn't send these prophets, yet they ran. I didn't speak to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, then they would have caused my people to hear my words, and would have turned them from their evil way, and from the evil of their doings. Am I a God at hand, says Yahweh, and not a God afar off? Can anyone hide himself in secret places so that I can't see him, says Yahweh? Don't I fill heaven and earth, says Yahweh? I have heard what the prophets have said, who prophesy lies in my name, saying, I had a dream. I had a dream. How long will this be in the heart of the prophets who prophesy lies, even the prophets of the deceit of their own heart? They intend to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams which they each tell his neighbor, as their fathers forgot my name because of Baal. The prophet who has a dream, let him tell a dream, and he who has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the straw to the wheat, says Yahweh? Isn't my word like fire, says Yahweh, and like a hammer that breaks the rock in pieces? Therefore behold, I am against the prophets, says Yahweh, who each steal my words from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, says Yahweh, who use their tongues, and say, he says. Behold, I am against those who prophesy lying dreams, says Yahweh, who tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies, and by their vain boasting, yet I didn't send them or command them. They don't profit this people at all, says Yahweh. When this people, or the prophet, or a priest, asks you, saying, what is the message from Yahweh? Then you shall tell them, what message? I will cast you off, says Yahweh. As for the prophet, the priest, and the people, who say, the message from Yahweh, I will even punish that man and his household. You will say everyone to his neighbor, and everyone to his brother, what has Yahweh answered, and what has Yahweh said? You will mention the message from Yahweh no more, for every man's own word has become his message, for you have perverted the words of the living God, of Yahweh of armies, our God. You will say to the prophet, what has Yahweh answered you, and what has Yahweh spoken? Although you say, the message from Yahweh, therefore Yahweh says, because you say this word, the message from Yahweh, and I have sent to you, telling you not to say, the message from Yahweh, therefore behold, I will utterly forget you, and I will cast you off with the city that I gave to you and to your fathers, away from my presence. I will bring an everlasting reproach on you, and a perpetual shame, which will not be forgotten. Chapter 24. Yahweh showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before Yahweh's temple, after Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon had carried away captive Jeconiah the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and the princes of Judah, with the craftsmen and smiths, from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babylon. One basket had very good figs, like the figs that are first ripe, and the other basket had very bad figs, which could not be eaten, they were so bad. Then Yahweh asked me, what do you see, Jeremiah? I said, figs. The good figs are very good, and the bad are very bad, so bad that they can't be eaten. Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Yahweh, the God of Israel says, like these good figs, so I will regard the captives of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans, as good. For I will set my eyes on them for good, and I will bring them again to this land. I will build them, and not pull them down. I will plant them, and not pluck them up. I will give them a heart to know me, that I am Yahweh. They will be my people, and I will be their God, for they will return to me with their whole heart. As the bad figs, which can't be eaten, they are so bad, surely Yahweh says, so I will give up Zedekiah the king of Judah, and his princes, and the remnant of Jerusalem who remain in this land, and those who dwell in the land of Egypt. I will even give them up to be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth for evil, to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse, in all places where I will drive them. I will send the sword, the famine, and the pestilence among them, until they are consumed from off the land that I gave to them and to their fathers. Chapter 25. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah, in the 4th year of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, this was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, which Jeremiah the prophet spoke to all the people of Judah, and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, from the 13th year of Josiah the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even to this day, these 23 years, Yahweh's word has come to me, and I have spoken to you, rising up early and speaking, but you have not listened. Yahweh has sent to you all his servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but you have not listened or inclined your ear to hear, saying, return now everyone from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that Yahweh has given to you and to your fathers, from of old and even forevermore. Don't go after other gods to serve them or worship them, and don't provoke me to anger with the work of your hands, then I will do you no harm. Yet you have not listened to me, says Yahweh, that you may provoke me to anger with the work of your hands to your own hurt. Therefore Yahweh of armies says, because you have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, says Yahweh, and I will send to Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against its inhabitants, and against all these nations around. I will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and a hissing, and perpetual desolations. Moreover I will take from them the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the lamp. This whole land will be a desolation, and an astonishment, and these nations will serve the king of Babylon 70 years. It will happen, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, says Yahweh, for their iniquity. I will make the land of the Chaldeans desolate forever. I will bring on that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah has prophesied against all the nations. For many nations and great kings will make bondservants of them, even of them. I will recompense them according to their deeds, and according to the work of their hands. For Yahweh, the God of Israel, says to me, take this cup of the wine of wrath from my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send you to drink it. They will drink, and reel back and forth, and be insane, because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup at Yahweh's hand, and made all the nations to drink, to whom Yahweh had sent me, Jerusalem, and the cities of Judah, with its kings and its princes, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, a hissing, and a curse, as it is today, Pharaoh king of Egypt, with his servants, his princes, and all his people, and all the mixed people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, all the kings of the Philistines, Ashkelon, Gaza, Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyre, all the kings of Sidon, and the kings of the isle which is beyond the sea, Dedan, Tema, Buz, and all who have the corners of their beard cut off, and all the kings of Arabia, all the kings of the mixed people who dwell in the wilderness, and all the kings of Zimri, all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another. And all the kingdoms of the world, which are on the surface of the earth. The king of Shishak will drink after them. You shall tell them, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel says, drink, and be drunk, vomit, fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. It shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at your hand to drink, then you shall tell them, Yahweh of armies says, you shall surely drink. For, behold, I begin to work evil at the city which is called by my name, and should you be utterly unpunished? You will not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword on all the inhabitants of the earth, says Yahweh of armies. Therefore prophesy against them all these words, and tell them, Yahweh will roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He will mightily roar against his fold. He will give a shout, as those who tread grapes, against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise will come even to the end of the earth, for Yahweh has a controversy with the nations. He will enter into judgment with all flesh. As for the wicked, he will give them to the sword, says Yahweh. Yahweh of armies says, behold, evil will go out from nation to nation, and a great storm will be raised up from the uttermost parts of the earth. The slain of Yahweh will be at that day from one end of the earth even to the other end of the earth. They won't be lamented. They won't be gathered or buried. They will be dung on the surface of the ground. Wail, you shepherds, and cry. Wallow in dust, you leader of the flock, for the days of your slaughter and of your dispersions have fully come, and you will fall like fine pottery. The shepherds will have no way to flee. The leader of the flock will have no escape. A voice of the cry of the shepherds, and the wailing of the leader of the flock, for Yahweh destroys their pasture. The peaceful folds are brought to silence because of the fierce anger of Yahweh. He has left his covert, as the lion, for their land has become an astonishment because of the fierceness of the oppression, and because of his fierce anger. Chapter 26. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came from Yahweh. Yahweh says, stand in the court of Yahweh's house, and speak to all the cities of Judah which come to worship in Yahweh's house, all the words that I command you to speak to them. Don't omit a word. It may be they will listen, and every man turn from his evil way, that I may relent from the evil which I intend to do to them because of the evil of their doings. You shall tell them, Yahweh says, if you will not listen to me, to walk in my law which I have set before you, to listen to the words of my servants the prophets whom I send to you, even rising up early and sending them, but you have not listened, then I will make this house like Shiloh, and will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. The priests and the prophets and all the people heard Jeremiah speaking these words in Yahweh's house. When Jeremiah had finished speaking all that Yahweh had commanded him to speak to all the people, the priests and the prophets and all the people seized him, saying, you shall surely die. Why have you prophesied in Yahweh's name, saying, this house will be like Shiloh, and the city will be desolate, without inhabitant? All the people were crowded around Jeremiah in Yahweh's house. When the princes of Judah heard these things, they came up from the king's house to Yahweh's house, and they sat in the entry of the new gate of Yahweh's house. Then the priests and the prophets spoke to the princes and to all the people, saying, this man is worthy of death, for he has prophesied against the city, as you have heard with your ears. Then Jeremiah spoke to all the princes and to all the people, saying, Yahweh sent me to prophesy against this house and against the city all the words that you have heard. Now therefore amend your ways and your doings, and obey Yahweh your God's voice, then Yahweh will relent from the evil that he has pronounced against you. But as for me, behold, I am in your hand. Do with me what is good and right in your eyes. Only know for certain that if you put me to death, you will bring innocent blood on yourselves, on the city, and on its inhabitants, for in truth Yahweh has sent me to you to speak all these words in your ears. Then the princes and all the people said to the priests and to the prophets, this man is not worthy of death, for he has spoken to us in the name of Yahweh our God. Then certain of the elders of the land rose up, and spoke to all the assembly of the people, saying, Micah the Morashite prophesied in the days of Hezekiah king of Judah, and he spoke to all the people of Judah, saying, Yahweh of armies says, Zion will be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem will become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of a forest. Did Hezekiah king of Judah and all Judah put him to death? Didn't he fear Yahweh, and entreat the favor of Yahweh, and Yahweh relented of the disaster which he had pronounced against them? We would commit great evil against our own souls that way. There was also a man who prophesied in Yahweh's name, Uriah the son of Shemaiah of Kiriath-Jearim, and he prophesied against the city and against this land according to all the words of Jeremiah. When Jehoiakim the king, with all his mighty men and all the princes heard his words, the king sought to put him to death, but when Uriah heard it, he was afraid, and fled, and went into Egypt. Then Jehoiakim the king sent Elnathan the son of Achbor and certain men with him into Egypt. They fetched Uriah out of Egypt and brought him to Jehoiakim the king, who killed him with the sword and cast his dead body into the graves of the common people. But the hand of Ahikam the son of Shaphan was with Jeremiah, so that they didn't give him into the hand of the people to put him to death. Chapter 27. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Yahweh says to me, make bonds and bars, and put them on your neck. Then send them to the king of Edom, to the king of Moab, to the king of the children of Ammon, to the king of Tyre, and to the king of Sidon, by the hand of the messengers who come to Jerusalem to Zedekiah king of Judah. Give them a command to their masters, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel says, you shall tell your masters, I have made the earth, the men, and the animals that are on the surface of the earth by my great power and by my outstretched arm. I give it to whom it seems right to me. Now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servant. I have also given the animals of the field to him to serve him. All the nations will serve him, his son, and his son's son, until the time of his own land comes. Then many nations and great kings will make him their bondservant. It will happen that I will punish the nation and the kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, says Yahweh, with the sword, with famine, and with pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand. But as for you, don't listen to your prophets, to your diviners, to your dreams, to your soothsayers, or to your sorcerers, who speak to you, saying, you shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie to you, to remove you far from your land, so that I would drive you out, and you would perish. But the nation that brings their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serves him, that nation I will let remain in their own land, says Yahweh, and they will till it and dwell in it. Double quotes, I spoke to Zedekiah king of Judah according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him and his people, and live. Why will you die, you and your people, by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, as Yahweh has spoken concerning the nation that will not serve the king of Babylon? Don't listen to the words of the prophets who speak to you, saying, you shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie to you. For I have not sent them, says Yahweh, but they prophesy falsely in my name, that I may drive you out, and that you may perish, you, and the prophets who prophesy to you. Also I spoke to the priests and to all this people, saying, Yahweh says, don't listen to the words of your prophets who prophesy to you, saying, behold, the vessels of Yahweh's house will now shortly be brought again from Babylon, for they prophesy a lie to you. Don't listen to them. Serve the king of Babylon, and live. Why should this city become a desolation? But if they are prophets, and if Yahweh's word is with them, let them now make intercession to Yahweh of armies, that the vessels which are left in Yahweh's house, in the house of the king of Judah, and at Jerusalem, don't go to Babylon. For Yahweh of armies says concerning the pillars, concerning the sea, concerning the bases, and concerning the rest of the vessels that are left in the city, which Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon didn't take when he carried away captive Jeconiah the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the nobles of Judah and Jerusalem, yes, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says concerning the vessels that are left in Yahweh's house, and in the house of the king of Judah, and at Jerusalem, they will be carried to Babylon, and there they will be, until the day that I visit them, says Yahweh, then I will bring them up, and restore them to this place. Chapter 28. That same year, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah king of Judah, in the 4th year, in the 5th month, Hananiah the son of Azur, the prophet, who was of Gibeon, spoke to me in Yahweh's house, in the presence of the priests and of all the people, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 full years I will bring again into this place all the vessels of Yahweh's house that Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon took away from this place and carried to Babylon. I will bring again to this place Jeconiah the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, with all the captives of Judah, who went to Babylon, says Yahweh, for I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. Then the prophet Jeremiah said to the prophet Hananiah in the presence of the priests, and in the presence of all the people who stood in Yahweh's house, even the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. May Yahweh do so. May Yahweh perform your words which you have prophesied, to bring again the vessels of Yahweh's house, and all those who are captives, from Babylon to this place. Nevertheless listen now to this word that I speak in your ears, and in the ears of all the people, the prophets who have been before me and before you of old prophesied against many countries, and against great kingdoms, of war, of evil, and of pestilence. As for the prophet who prophesies of peace, when the word of the prophet happens, then the prophet will be known that Yahweh has truly sent him. Then Hananiah the prophet took the bar from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck, and broke it. Hananiah spoke in the presence of all the people, saying, Yahweh says, even so I will break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon from off the neck of all the nations within 2 full years. Then the prophet Jeremiah went his way. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, after Hananiah the prophet had broken the bar from off the neck of the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Go, and tell Hananiah, saying, Yahweh says, you have broken the bars of wood, but you have made in their place bars of iron. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel says, I have put a yoke of iron on the neck of all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and they will serve him. I have also given him the animals of the field. Then the prophet Jeremiah said to Hananiah the prophet, Listen, Hananiah. Yahweh has not sent you, but you make this people trust in a lie. Therefore Yahweh says, Behold, I will send you away from off the surface of the earth. This year you will die, because you have spoken rebellion against Yahweh. So Hananiah the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. Chapter 29. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem to the residue of the elders of the captivity, and to the priests, to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon, after Jeconiah the king, the queen mother, the eunuchs, the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, the craftsmen, and the smiths had departed from Jerusalem, by the hand of Elasah the son of Shaphan and Gemariah the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah king of Judah sent to Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon. It said, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says to all the captives whom I have caused to be carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon, build houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat their fruit. Take wives and father sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there, and don't be diminished. Seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to Yahweh for it, for in its peace you will have peace. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel says, Don't let your prophets who are among you and your diviners deceive you. Don't listen to your dreams which you cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely to you in my name. I have not sent them, says Yahweh. For Yahweh says, After 70 years are accomplished for Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says Yahweh, thoughts of peace, and not of evil, to give you hope and a future. You shall call on me, and you shall go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You shall seek me and find me, when you search for me with all your heart. I will be found by you, says Yahweh, and I will turn again your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, and from all the places where I have driven you, says Yahweh. I will bring you again to the place from where I caused you to be carried away captive. Because you have said, Yahweh has raised us up prophets in Babylon, Yahweh says concerning the king who sits on David's throne, and concerning all the people who dwell in the city, your brothers who haven't gone with you into captivity, Yahweh of armies says, Behold, I will send on them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like rotten figs that can't be eaten, they are so bad. I will pursue after them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth, to be an object of horror, an astonishment, a hissing, and a reproach among all the nations where I have driven them, because they have not listened to my words, says Yahweh, with which I sent to them my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but you would not hear, says Yahweh. Hear therefore Yahweh's word, all you captives whom I have sent away from Jerusalem to Babylon. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says concerning Ahab the son of Kaliah, and concerning Zedekiah the son of Messiah, who prophesy a lie to you in my name, Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and he will kill them before your eyes. A curse will be taken up about them by all the captives of Judah who are in Babylon, saying, Yahweh make you like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have done foolish things in Israel, and have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken words in my name falsely, which I didn't command them. I am he who knows, and am witness, says Yahweh. Concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite you shall speak, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, because you have sent letters in your own name to all the people who are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah the son of Messiah, the priest, and to all the priests, saying, Yahweh has made you priest in the place of Jehoiada the priest, that there may be officers in Yahweh's house, for every man who is crazy and makes himself a prophet, that you should put him in the stocks and in shackles. Now therefore, why have you not rebuked Jeremiah of Anathoth, who makes himself a prophet to you, because he has sent to us in Babylon, saying, The captivity is long. Build houses, and dwell in them. Plant gardens, and eat their fruit. Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the hearing of Jeremiah the prophet. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, Send to all of the captives, saying, Yahweh says concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, because Shemaiah has prophesied to you, and I didn't send him, and he has caused you to trust in a lie, therefore Yahweh says, Behold, I will punish Shemaiah the Nehelamite and his offspring. He will not have a man to dwell among this people. He won't see the good that I will do to my people, says Yahweh, because he has spoken rebellion against Yahweh. Chapter 30. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Yahweh, the God of Israel, says, Write all the words that I have spoken to you in a book. For, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will reverse the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, says Yahweh. I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they will possess it. These are the words that Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For Yahweh says, We have heard a voice of trembling, a voice of fear, and not of peace. Ask now, and see whether a man travails with child. Why do I see every man with his hands on his waist, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned pale? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he will be saved out of it. It will come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of armies, that I will break his yoke from off your neck, and will burst your bonds. Strangers will no more make them their bondservants, but they will serve Yahweh their God, and David their king, whom I will raise up to them. Therefore don't be afraid, O Jacob my servant, says Yahweh. Don't be dismayed, Israel. For, behold, I will save you from afar, and save your offspring from the land of their captivity. Jacob will return, and will be quiet and at ease. No one will make him afraid. For I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you, for I will make a full end of all the nations where I have scattered you, but I will not make a full end of you, but I will correct you in measure, and will in no way leave you unpunished. For Yahweh says, Your hurt is incurable. Your wound is grievous. There is no one to plead your cause, that you may be bound up. You have no healing medicines. All your lovers have forgotten you. They don't seek you. For I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the greatness of your iniquity, because your sins were increased. Why do you cry over your injury? Your pain is incurable. For the greatness of your iniquity, because your sins have increased, I have done these things to you. Therefore all those who devour you will be devoured. All your adversaries, every one of them, will go into captivity. Those who plunder you will be plunder. I will make all who prey on you become prey. For I will restore health to you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahweh, because they have called you an outcast, saying, It is Zion, whom no man seeks after. Yahweh says, Behold, I will reverse the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have compassion on his dwelling places. The city will be built on its own hill, and the palace will be inhabited in its own place. Thanksgiving will proceed out of them with the voice of those who make merry. I will multiply them, and they will not be few. I will also glorify them, and they will not be small. Their children also will be as before, and their congregation will be established before me. I will punish all who oppress them. Their prince will be one of them, and their ruler will proceed from among them. I will cause him to draw near, and he will approach me. For who is he who has had boldness to approach me, says Yahweh. You shall be my people, and I will be your God. Behold, Yahweh's storm, his wrath, has gone out, a sweeping storm, it will burst on the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh will not return until he has accomplished, and until he has performed the intentions of his heart. In the latter days you will understand it. Chapter 31. At that time, says Yahweh, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they will be my people. Yahweh says, the people who survived the sword found favor in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Yahweh appeared of old to me, saying, Yes, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. I will build you again, and you will be built, O Virgin of Israel. You will again be adorned with your tambourines, and will go out in the dances of those who make merry. Again you will plant vineyards on the mountains of Samaria. The planters will plant, and will enjoy its fruit. For there will be a day that the watchmen on the hills of Ephraim cry, Arise. Let's go up to Zion to Yahweh our God. For Yahweh says, Sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout for the chief of the nations. Publish, praise, and say, Yahweh, save your people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the uttermost parts of the earth, along with the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her who travails with child together. They will return as a great company. They will come with weeping. I will lead them with petitions. I will cause them to walk by rivers of waters, in a straight way in which they won't stumble, for I am a father to Israel. Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear Yahweh's word, you nations, and declare it in the distant islands. Say, he who scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him, as a shepherd does his flock. For Yahweh has ransomed Jacob, and redeemed him from the hand of him who was stronger than he. They will come and sing in the height of Zion, and will flow to the goodness of Yahweh, to the grain, to the new wine, to the oil, and to the young of the flock and of the herd. Their soul will be as a watered garden. They will not sorrow any more at all. Then the virgin will rejoice in the dance, the young man and the old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people will be satisfied with my goodness, says Yahweh. Yahweh says, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation, and bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children, because they are no more. Yahweh says, refrain your voice from weeping, and your eyes from tears, for your work will be rewarded, says Yahweh. They will come again from the land of the enemy. There is hope for your latter end, says Yahweh. Your children will come again to their own territory. I have surely heard Ephraim grieving thus, you have chastised me, and I was chastised, as an untrained calf. Turn me, and I will be turned, for you are Yahweh my God. Surely after that I was turned. I repented. After that I was instructed. I struck my thigh. I was ashamed, yes, even confounded, because I bore the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a darling child? For as often as I speak against him, I still earnestly remember him. Therefore my heart yearns for him. I will surely have mercy on him, says Yahweh. Set up road signs. Make guideposts. Set your heart toward the highway, even the way by which you went. Turn again, Virgin of Israel. Turn again to these your cities. How long will you go here and there, you backsliding daughter? For Yahweh has created a new thing in the earth, a woman will encompass a man. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Yet again they will use this speech in the land of Judah and in its cities, when I reverse their captivity. Yahweh bless you, habitation of righteousness, mountain of holiness. Judah and all its cities will dwell therein together, the farmers, and those who go about with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. On this I awakened, and saw, and my sleep was sweet to me. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of animal. It will happen that, like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to overthrow and to destroy and to afflict, so I will watch over them to build and to plant, says Yahweh. In those days they will say no more, the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone will die for his own iniquity. Every man who eats the sour grapes, his teeth will be set on edge. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which covenant of mine they broke, although I was a husband to them, says Yahweh. But this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts, and I will write it in their heart. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. They will no longer each teach his neighbor, and every man teach his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they will all know me, from their least to their greatest, says Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Yahweh, who gives the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, who stirs up the sea, so that its waves roar, Yahweh of armies is his name, says, If these ordinances depart from before me, says Yahweh, then the offspring of Israel also will cease from being a nation before me forever. Yahweh says, If heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, then I will also cast off all the offspring of Israel for all that they have done, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that the city will be built to Yahweh from the tower of Hananel to the gate of the corner. The measuring line will go out further straight onward to the hill Gareb, and will turn toward Goah. The whole valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes, and all the fields to the brook Kidron, to the corner of the horse gate toward the east, will be holy to Yahweh. It will not be plucked up or thrown down any more forever. Chapter 32. This is the word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh in the 10th year of Zedekiah king of Judah, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. Now at that time the king of Babylon's army was besieging Jerusalem. Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the guard, which was in the king of Judah's house. For Zedekiah king of Judah had shut him up, saying, Why do you prophesy, and say, Yahweh says, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will take it, and Zedekiah king of Judah won't escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans, but will surely be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon, and will speak with him mouth to mouth, and his eyes will see his eyes, and he will bring Zedekiah to Babylon, and he will be there until I visit him, says Yahweh. Though you fight with the Chaldeans, you will not prosper. Jeremiah said, Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Behold, Hanamel the son of Shallum your uncle will come to you, saying, Buy my field that is in Anathoth, for the right of redemption is yours to buy it. Single quote, So Hanamel my uncle's son came to me in the court of the guard according to Yahweh's word, and said to me, Please buy my field that is in Anathoth, which is in the land of Benjamin, for the right of inheritance is yours, and the redemption is yours. Buy it for yourself. Then I knew that this was Yahweh's word. I bought the field that was in Anathoth of Hanamel my uncle's son, and weighed him the money, even 17 shekels of silver. I signed the deed, sealed it, called witnesses, and weighed the money in the balances to him. So I took the deed of the purchase, both that which was sealed, containing the terms and conditions, and that which was open, and I delivered the deed of the purchase to Baruch the son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, in the presence of Hanamel my uncle's son, and in the presence of the witnesses who signed the deed of the purchase, before all the Jews who sat in the court of the guard. I commanded Baruch before them, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Take these deeds, this deed of the purchase which is sealed, and this deed which is open, and put them in an earthen vessel, that they may last many days. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel says, Houses and fields and vineyards will yet again be bought in this land. Now after I had delivered the deed of the purchase to Baruch the son of Neriah, I prayed to Yahweh, saying, O Lord Yahweh, behold, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and by your outstretched arm. There is nothing too hard for you. You show loving kindness to thousands, and repay the iniquity of the fathers into the bosom of their children after them. The great, the mighty God, Yahweh of armies is your name, great in counsel, and mighty in work, whose eyes are open to all the ways of the children of men, to give everyone according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doings, who performed signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, even to this day, both in Israel and among other men, and made yourself a name, as it is today, and brought your people Israel out of the land of Egypt with signs, with wonders, with a strong hand, with an outstretched arm, and with great terror, and gave them this land, which you swore to their fathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey. They came in and possessed it, but they didn't obey your voice and didn't walk in your law. They have done nothing of all that you commanded them to do. Therefore you have caused all this evil to come upon them. Behold, siege ramps have been built against the city to take it. The city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans who fight against it, because of the sword, of the famine, and of the pestilence. What you have spoken has happened. Behold, you see it. You have said to me, Lord Yahweh, buy the field for money, and call witnesses, whereas the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, Behold, I am Yahweh, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Therefore Yahweh says, Behold, I will give the city into the hand of the Chaldeans, and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and he will take it. The Chaldeans, who fight against the city, will come and set the city on fire, and burn it with the houses on whose roofs they have offered incense to Baal, and poured out drink offerings to other gods, to provoke me to anger. For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have done only that which was evil in my sight from their youth, for the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, says Yahweh. For this city has been to me a provocation of my anger and of my wrath from the day that they built it even to this day, so that I should remove it from before my face, because of all the evil of the children of Israel and of the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their princes, their priests, their prophets, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They have turned their backs to me, and not their faces. Although I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not listened to receive instruction. But they set their abominations in the house which is called by my name, to defile it. They built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through fire to Molech, which I didn't command them. It didn't even come into my mind that they should do this abomination, to cause Judah to sin. Now therefore Yahweh, the God of Israel, says concerning the city, about which you say, It is given into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, behold, I will gather them out of all the countries where I have driven them in my anger, and in my wrath, and in great indignation, and I will bring them again to this place. I will cause them to dwell safely. Then they will be my people, and I will be their God. I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for their good and the good of their children after them. I will make an everlasting covenant with them, that I will not turn away from following them, to do them good. I will put my fear in their hearts, that they may not depart from me. Yes, I will rejoice over them to do them good, and I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul. For Yahweh says, Just as I have brought all this great evil on this people, so I will bring on them all the good that I have promised them. Fields will be bought in this land, about which you say, It is desolate, without man or animal. It is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Men will buy fields for money, sign the deeds, seal them, and call witnesses, in the land of Benjamin, and in the places around Jerusalem, in the cities of Judah, in the cities of the hill country, in the cities of the lowland, and in the cities of the south, for I will cause their captivity to be reversed, says Yahweh.